So hello everyone, welcome to CodeCell's open source meetup. So before starting, I'd like to give you a glimpse कि आज क्या होने वाला है. So we'll start basically कि open source क्या होता है and all that. We'll start by that. After that, हम एक brief introduction दे देंगे Git and GitHub के बारे में. After that, we have prepared 4 amazing repositories for you जिस पे तुम collaborate कर सकते हो. And if you have successful pull requests, you get to have goodies as well. तो उसका एक छोटा सा ग्लिम्स मैं तुम्हें दे देता हूँ, एक सेकंड. तो this is an amazing website जो we'll get to see later. This and one more, this forms page. So starting off with the main content, right? Open source. So what is open source? So open source is nothing but एक source code है जिसपे variety of people can contribute. They can use any piece of code for their own use and collectively. मतलब, for example, let's say I think most of y'all are from SY and TY, right? तो हमें mini project नाम का चीज था where 3 people had to make a project. Abhi, there were many challenges that those 3 people faced and many problems, right? Imagine this. 3 people के project के जगह the entire class had to make a not a mini project but a really good project. Look at the advantages. You get inputs from 60 odd people from your batch. If anyone has a doubt, there are 60 other people to help you out. And at the end, the beautiful project that all 60 of you create, you get to call that project as yours. Isn't it such a beautiful idea? So that is the basic concept behind open source. It promotes collaboration. Let's start out with a story again. कि open source होता क्या है? So there is this guy named Pipo. So he's walking, right? And then he comes up with the idea. Let's build an app. Because why not? उसके बाद he starts to learn programming. He codes days and nights. Some time passes by. उसके बाद he has some issues. What are those issues? Let's have a look. He faces thousands of bugs. There is lack of input and help from others. Like if there were more people, उनका भी input रहता, they would have their own creative ideas and they would have also helped people. But none of that is possible because he's doing it on his own. And again, because he's doing it on its own, he has to spend the entire day coding. That's why he has sleepless nights. So people is like, what should I do, right? So he came up with a plan. He's like, he'll make his project open source. What does he mean by it? He's telling others, come collaborate with me in my project. You get to add your own creative ideas. If you want to use any part of my code for your personal use, you can do that as well. And at the end, agar app acha gaya, then you will get rewarded as well. So people joined Pipo and they built an amazing app. And this is what is known today as the open source community. My name is Gaurish Baliga, and we'll be starting with advantages and where is open source used. I'd like to call Kashvi for the same.
Hi everyone, I'm Kashvi from SY Comms, and I'm going to talk about where open source is used. So right now when Gaurish explained what open source exactly is, you would be wondering that only in putting inputs and giving your views, but where can you apply that? Where can you use that? So not only building your own app, but you can make changes in different other kinds of projects as well. So when you see Android, these are the basic things that we know as a Gen Z user right now, that Android, Wikipedia, Linux, VLC Media Player, Mozilla Firefox are the names that we hear very frequently and we use very frequently. All of them are open source projects. You can put your inputs into them. You can send the code to the website, and then they can see if you can fix the bug or solve the problem in which way, and then they can use it. So the Android open source project is is an open source project in which all the changes in the Android, the software of the Android are used. Then there are open source ad blockers, which have the potential to reduce the time, and because of that, the time spent in eliminating the ads during internet browsing, or when you are checking out some other website or learning some video through some videos, it's helpful to us. Sorry.
I think someone's mic was unmuted. You can continue, Kashvi. It was by mistake.
So the Matches Manager it's a suite of open source software. So for the customizing the Android part, the Androids higher than 5.0, we use this thing. Then for the F-Droid, it's just an installable catalog for free and open source software. And it makes easier to browse and install and keep track of updates on any kinds of devices. So for example, when we got some update in Android, so it is useful to know about it. Linux, as we know, is very in trend right now, and we see that is also open source, and it's become one of the largest open source software project in the world. Mozilla Firefox is also the second largest used browser currently, and that is also open source. Then Chromium is an open source browser project that aims to build a safer and a faster and more stable way for all users to experience the web. This site contains documents, architecture, overviews, then the testing, and it helps you build and work with the Chromium source code as well, and you can make the changes. GIMP is a cross-platform image editor. So as you use Photoshop for image editing, so GIMP is like an alternative for Photoshop. Whether you are a graphic designer, photographer, illustrator, or whatever, GIMP provides you a lot of tools to get your jobs done, and you can further enhance your productivity with it. It is a free software. You can use its source code and change it and distribute the changes. OpenCV has a Python library, and it's an open source computer vision library in which you use the computer vision and machine learning software libraries. It was built to provide a common infrastructure for applications which are based on computer vision, and to accelerate machine learning and the machine learning perception towards all commercial projects and even the virtual projects that are going on. The so React is a JavaScript library for building user interfaces in which a lot of changes in the user of Facebook are observed, and Flutter is used for Google's user interface toolkit, which makes it very beautiful, and applications for mobile and web and desktop from a single code base. You can make changes and make it even more beautiful while keep going on. And you have to make changes in the existing code only. A lot of different developers and organizations around the world put into it. So you will learn from them as well what changes they are putting. So even if you're a beginner, it is very helpful to you, but because you learn, you see in the community how the changes are made. For Bootstrap, it is a simple and flexible basic web dev code for popular same user interface components and interactions. And as you see, VS Code is the main code editor when you have to make changes. So when you clone from GitHub any repository and you want to make changes to it and send, so you use VS Code. So you can't consider it fully open source, but it is a code editor to change the source code that we have found from a particular repository, which can be used in Mac OS, Linux, Windows, anywhere. So now we'll talk about the benefit of open source. So as we can see, open source is helpful to us in making changes. So when you're a beginner, you would be feeling that I don't know much about coding. How am I supposed to contribute somewhere and see that I can do it? But it is not very difficult. You can contribute into open source even if you are a beginner. You just need to know basics of any particular language like React or Flutter, and then you can just start contributing even while learning. So you can practice your skills and even show up them to the world according to how you have learned it and how you apply it. Then as you can see, Google Summer of Code, which is a very big platform for open source, and it is like a paid internship. So if you're taking part in Google Summer of Code, it pays stipend to the interns according to how you have contributed to the open source. Open source is like a golden opportunity in which you get to learn, you get to practice, and you even get paid for it. Other open source projects like Outreachy, MLH Fellowship, they also work similar to Google Summer of Code. There are some women-oriented programs as well. For example, like Girl Script Summer of Code, Rails Girl Summer of Code, in which they are mainly open source projects only for women, which is a very nice way to boost open source projects. Google also has Google Summer of Docs and Google Code-In. When you work for open source projects, you get experience through it because there's a community that you are working with. You can discuss with people how to work on a certain project, why to do it, and so on. So if you think that you have a certain perspective behind making a certain change in a bug or a problem, you can collaborate with other members as well, and then you all can discuss how you want to make a change. By this method, you bring a lot of strong networking, a lot of connections, a lot of built up communication skills, which will make you more fair in showing your ideas and your views. And it's because it's a collaborative effort. When you code in the open source projects, you day by day get better at coding. You understand how to write clean code because all the people around you in those open source projects are software engineers working in companies since the past 15 to 20 years. And they know very well, they experience very well how the code is structured and formed. You see from them, you learn from them. Once you put in projects, then it builds an online reputation for you because you can put it to your resume, brings your resume very powerful. You get recognition. It is a plus point when you're applying to other companies, other internships, because they see how much you've experienced in this time. You can even convey your thoughts and ideas according to how you learn and how you apply. The approach of open source is learning while you're doing it. It's not just doing it all the time, you even learn simultaneously. There's a community available to solve your doubts. So whenever you ask the doubts, they solve it and they help you in making the changes in the open source code. Last but not the least, you get free exclusive stickers, t-shirts, mugs, and a lot of other goodies, which is very like everybody would like that, obviously. So yeah, I will now pass on to the next person.
So hi everyone, my name is Pargat Singh and I'll be telling you about some famous open source projects. So starting off, firstly, we have Linux. And Linux is something which is really popular and really interesting. Why? Because पहली बात तो ये है कि it can run on basically anything. If you can see कि like आजकल smart toasters आ रहे हैं and smart fridges आ रहे हैं, उन सब पे भी bare bones पे Linux रन हो रहा है. तुम्हारे पास जो फोन है, ठीक है, एंड इफ इट्स एंड्रॉयड फोन, तो एंड्रॉयड का जो बेस सब सिस्टम है इट्स ऑल्सो लिनक्स. फन फैक्ट कि मेरे पास है ना एक्चुअली एक रास्पबेरी पाई है यहाँ पे, एंड ये एक बेसिकली एक सिंगल बोर्ड कंप्यूटर है. इसके ऊपर भी देयर इज समथिंग कॉल्ड एज रास्पबियन, एंड रास्पबियन इज नथिंग बट अ डिस्ट्रो ऑफ लिनक्स. सो यू कैन इमेजिन डिस्ट्रो एज अ फ्लेवर. जैसे आइसक्रीम्स के वेरियस फ्लेवर्स होते हैं, वैसे ही लिनक्स के अलग अलग डिस्ट्रोज होते हैं. So if you want a particular distro जिसमें एक particular feature है, तुम वो distro use कर सकते हो. But if you feel like कि तुम्हें Arch Linux नहीं चाहिए, तुम्हें GNOME based चाहिए, तो you can shift. तो it's kind of कि लोगों ने open source में first they thought कि these features are missing. But since Linux is open source, they contributed their own features and created their own distros. And that's why there is this meme कि Linux community में इतने सारे distros हैं and it's really hard for a beginner to start. But it's not like that. Everyone can start. So yeah, that was Linux. And moving on, we have the founder of Linux. He's a really great person and really famous for his hot takes and controversial takes. His name is Linus Torvalds. I'll suggest seeing a few videos on him and you will be interested in Linux by just seeing those videos. So next is something called as React. So like React अभी कश्मीर ने भी तुम्हें बताया. So in short, अगर मैं एक बार emphasis दूँ तो React is basically a front-end library जो I believe was made by Facebook in 2011 or 2012. So initially created by Facebook, so or Meta right now. So इससे you can design front-end के elements and वो सब. And those who are looking forward to learn React and start their journey as React developers, we do have people around here in CodeCell who code in React, and we also have a project for you in React, so you can start your React journey. And one more thing, the other way around is that you can also build applications using Flutter. Okay, Flutter and React natives are like दोनों opposite ends है kind of, so like fight होता है but हाँ, there is something कि तुम React native से भी एक वैसे applications बना सकते हैं which can run on any operating system. So cross compatibility होती है, and same goes for Flutter also. So if you're willing to like start your journey as a Flutter developer, we also have people around here in CodeCell. You can ask them, and yeah. So moving on. Yeah, we have something called as OpenCV. So like नाम में ही open है. So as you have guessed, ये भी open source है. And what is OpenCV for? So CV I believe stands for computer vision. So तुम लोगों ने बहुत सारे वो projects देखे होंगे जिसमें face tracking involved है, right? कि like कोई आदमी move करता है and camera उसको follow करता है, वैसे projects. So that all projects are made using OpenCV. So and OpenCV is a Python library, and in fact Python itself is an open source. So like it's कि Python open source है इसलिए इसके ऊपर built on libraries होती है. So you can see the same for every other programming language. वहाँ पे भी अलग-अलग libraries है. So it is something I'll say कि तुम deep में जा सकते हैं, ठीक है? OpenCV के ऊपर एक अलग topic ले सकते हैं, but let's not waste time on that. अच्छा, now I'll waste time on this. ठीक है? This is Android and हम सब use करते हैं, and this is something I really love about. Why? Because Android is open source, but saying that statement is a bit correct and wrong as well. क्योंकि Android खुद open source नहीं है. Android के दो variants होते हैं. Firstly, the Android released by Google, which contains the G apps or the Google apps. So that Android is not entirely open source, but plain vanilla Android without the specialities of Google apps is open source. So we call that as AOSP or else known as Android Open Source Project. So एक और चीज है, I'll just show you right now. I'll screen share and show you after I finish talking about it. There is something called as custom ROMs. So you can imagine custom ROMs same as Linux distros but for Android. So यहाँ पे भी people have took that Android open source का code and contributed their features. So for example, if I feel like कि मुझे ये feature missing लग रहा है, I can either switch to a custom ROM or do one thing is कि मैं खुद contribute कर सकता हूँ वो open source को. So that is the benefit of having your project open source. कि people around the globe can contribute to it and like connect with it and add their own features. And if you feel कि नहीं phone के अंदर कोई bug है, it can be fixed immediately because you're not the only one who is facing that bug. There are millions of people who are using it. So I'll just screen share and show you what I mean by that. What I mean by custom ROMs. So I'll be using an open source project called as Scrappy, short for screen copy. So इससे you can basically mirror your Android phone and इसका lag भी बहुत कम है. So I'll just show you my phone. So firstly the thing is कि जो तुम पूरा screen देख रहे हो ना, ये पूरा open source है, ठीक है? इसके अंदर is everything which I have customized and stored willing to my like. So I'm using a custom ROM called as Pixel Experience Plus. So this is also built on top of AOSP, as I was saying, but this includes the specialities which Google provides. So it includes Google Photos, G Drive, and all that. So that is one thing. And secondly, मेरे phone का एक और special बात ये है कि मेरे phone में ना ads नहीं आती, and that is because of that कि मैं एक native ad blocker use कर रहा हूँ, which again you can see is open source. अब यहाँ पे एक और चीज आती है open source की, which is privacy. Now in today's world, privacy is very important because companies like Meta and all वो सब privacy को इतना seriously नहीं लेते. But on the other hand, open source community takes privacy really seriously. Why? Because if you feel कि तुम्हें track कर रहे हैं कोई या there are some backdoors installed, then you can simply go on like उनकी site पे जाके तुम देख सकते हो. I guess. Yeah. So if I want to see this ad blocker का source code, I can go over here on GitHub and yeah, see. तो ये मुझे वो project मिल गया जो AdAway का project है. So I can see the source code of AdAway over here. That is the benefit of having a project open source. And if I feel कि एक दो ads block नहीं हो रही, I can like मैं खुद से वो add कर सकता हूँ ये community में. So it's not only about like taking the benefits of open source, it's also about giving to open source. The other thing is कि my phone is also rooted because that application requires to root your phone, and you may be asking कि phone को root कैसे किया, right? That is because I follow a open source community on XDA developers, which teaches you how to root your phone, how to unlock your bootloader and all that. So Magisk is another open source root manager, which I use to manage the root access on my phones. So like यहाँ पे super user permissions है and वो सब है. So हाँ. And this was the custom ROM which I was talking about. I'm using Pixel Experience. So ऐसे ही similar way में there are many other custom ROMs which you can use. So Pixel Experience is one of the most famous and the most likable custom ROM out there because it gives you a very Google-ish experience. So if you are interested in custom ROMs, then do talk to me about that. And lastly, the thing is कि मेरे YouTube में भी ads नहीं आती, and I get YouTube Premium for free. For example, if I play this video from Alan Pan,
I think the assignment was to make a classified
if I
egg for
go
something I want.
back to my home
I've
screen,
made
you
it.
can see that the video is still playing. This is because the YouTube which I'm using is not the original YouTube, but rather than किसी ने took that YouTube का app and उसके अंदर थोड़े modifications किए. अच्छा, one more thing, I can also see the dislike का counter. You can see over here. तो वो बहुत famous है कि like dislike counter नहीं है अभी YouTube पे, but I can see the number of dislikes on a video. This is वही कि अगर तुम्हारा प्रोजेक्ट ओपन सोर्स है and if you feel कि नहीं यार इसमें ये फीचर होना चाहिए, this should have that thing जो मुझे चाहिए, then you can yourself add it. खुद से जाओ, खुद you can add to the project. That is the benefit कि ओपन सोर्स बहुत सही चीज है. So now I think so तुम लोग को मिल गया होगा, बोर भी हो गए होगे कि ये आदमी कितनी बार ओपन सोर्स बोलेगा, but हाँ, I really love it. So back to you, Gaurish. Okay, so next we have कि इतनी बार ओपन सोर्स कर लिया, अब ये बता दे कि स्टार्ट कैसे करें. How should we start as a open source developer? How should we start contributing to the community? So let's see what are the steps for starting your open source journey. So we can roughly divide this into 4 parts. That is, firstly, you can start learning a skill. So कोई भी चीज को अगर तुम्हें सीखना है तो पहले ये चीज होती है, तुम्हें खुद से कोई चीज एक सीखनी पड़ती है, right? So you can either start like learning a skill. For example, you can learn about web development. You can start with HTML, CSS, JavaScript and move on to other frameworks like React, Node, Express. You can start as a web developer ताकि तुम्हारे पास एक skill हो. If you're not interested in web development, there are other options also. You just need to explore. You can go for app building and you can do that through Android Android Studio. उसके अंदर you can use Java or Kotlin to write apps for Android. Or else if you're not into just writing apps for Android, you can write it using Flutter. क्योंकि अभी Flutter का एक और update आया था recently in Google I/O. That is, you can build cross-platform apps. So not only Android and iOS, but also Mac and Linux, which is really amazing. कि बस तुम्हें एक चीज आती है and you can code everywhere. Like हर एक platform पे तुम्हारा जो application तुमने code किया है, it's available. So that is one more thing. And yeah, there are other options, जैसे you can explore ML, that is machine learning, or if you're not into machine learning or any of that, you can explore data science. So बहुत सारे options हैं. But अगर you feel कि you're not from a technical background, you can write the documentations. ठीक है? जो the thing about programmers is that we are really bad at communicating. So we are really bad at documenting stuff. So you can be that guy who documents the stuff for us. So that उसके लिए भी बहुत अलग-अलग जगह है where you can write things, you can teach people. So that was the first step कि एक कोई skill सीखो. So now let us assume कि तुमने skill सीख लिया, तुम्हें web dev आ गया, अब आगे क्या? The second step is to learn a version control. Now पहली बार version control सुन के मुझे भी कुछ नहीं समझा था. So you're not the only one. But version control we'll be teaching you today. So stick around with us. So मैं इसमें एकदम deep में नहीं जाऊँगा. I'll just say कि basic git command सीखो, learn how to use GitHub, learn how to fork projects, how to contribute to the forked projects, and like pull request कैसे merge करते हैं. We'll be taking this whole second step deeply in today's session. So stick around with us. So like अब समझो तुम्हें web dev आ गया, तुम्हें version control आ गया. Now what? Now the thing is कि actually मैं project find करूँ. So the basic stuff is कि तुम्हें कोई project मिलेगा तभी तुम open source पे contribute कर सकते हो, right? अब जैसे that's why we took कि famous open source projects कौन से? If you feel कि तुम जो computer use कर रहे हो उसके अंदर एक चीज missing है, you can contribute it using a Linux distro. So you can find a Linux distro which is like तुम्हारे flavor के हिसाब से, तुम्हारे vibe के हिसाब से बैठता है. So you can find a project. You can search for open source projects online. The basic thing that anyone can do is a Google search. So तुम्हें अगर कुछ भी नहीं आ रहा है, जो तुम्हें चाहिए वो बस blankly Google पे जाके मतलब वो search कर लो, and you'll get some results. तुम्हारा first result नहीं होगा, second हो सकता है, third हो सकता है. You just need to go through the search page. ठीक है? The other thing is you can join open source communities. So there are various open source community, and one of those communities happens to be KJSCE CodeCell. So I'll suggest you join our Discord server. वहाँ पे we have a really big community of people wherein you can ask your doubts. अगर तुम्हारा खुद का कोई open source project है, you can like link it over there so that people in our community can start working on it, start helping you. Or else if you are someone who is looking for an open source project, you can look over there also. So it goes both ways. So yeah, the other 2 points are like you can help your friends build up the project. As Gaurish said कि एक mini project सा होता है, right? So अगर तुम्हारी class में एक mini project सा है, and if you feel कि तुम्हारे friend को एक help चाहिए, you can help them because the project is freely available on GitHub. So you can contribute to that project. Or the thing is, you can be that one who starts an open source project. Start a project which you feel like कि has some potential and which will give back to the community. So be that guy and be that change. So ठीक है, तीनों step हो गए. अब क्या, like project भी मिल गया. Now the thing is कि how you can contribute to that project. The thing is कि many projects में एक ना कोई bug तो होता ही होता है, ठीक है? Bug एक ऐसी चीज है जो नहीं पीछे जाती. So you can firstly search for that bug, hunt for that bug, and then you can fix that bug. So you can find a bug and then fix a bug. If you feel like कि नहीं इसमें कोई bug नहीं मिल रहा तो क्या करूँ? The other option is you can suggest them a feature and then build that feature yourself. So like you can go to a website and say कि इसमें ये feature नहीं है, I would like to contribute that feature. Then they'll say yeah sure, please go ahead and work on it, and they'll assign you that feature to work on. So that is something which you can do. And there is one more thing which is really great about open source community is that is good first issues. So now बहुत सारे open source projects होते हैं wherein they'll point out the bugs or point out issues themselves. कि like अगर मेरा project है मैं खुद बोलूँगा कि हाँ मेरे project में ये issue है and I like a beginner to work on it. Why? Because I want a beginner to start his open source journey so that community grow होता है. So वो वैसे है कि like if I want कि मेरा project अच्छा बने, I'll want good for you too. So वो एक चीज़ है जो बहुत सही है open source के बारे में. So moving on. Acha. So the whole point of us keeping this session in the month of October and ये सब हम open source के बारे में अभी क्यों बात करें is because every year there is this company called as DigitalOcean which hosts a month-long event in the month of October. हर साल होता है, ठीक है? And the goal of this event is to introduce many developers to the open source community and to grow the open source community. And how they do so is ki there are a set of rules ki if you for example made four valid merge requests, then they'll give you a reward, and har saal reward alag hota hai. Last year I believe there were 2 t-shirts. You can either choose from a light mode or a dark mode one. This year we have one t-shirt I believe, or else you can get a tree planted in your name. So Gaurav will show you the website of the Hacktober Fest. And I'll say once you have learned Git and GitHub from today's session, please go to the Hacktober ka site and register over there. Okay? And you'll see ki like kya hai, read about it, right? So this is Hacktober Fest ka website. I'll say कि तुम लोग वहाँ पे जाओ. We'll share the link in the Discord server, so those interested can check it out. Right? Intro to open source वाले channel में मैंने share किया. So you can register over here, and एक बार तुमने register कर दिया, it will show your GitHub का profile. You can either link it with GitHub or GitLab, any other thing. And the thing is कि firstly I'll say read the participation rules. कि क्या rules है, how you can contribute. अभी जो लोग न्यू होंगे गिट एंड गिटहब को उन्हें ये नहीं समझेगा, सो प्लीज वेट. एंड ऐसा डरो मत कि ये सब क्या है, ये बहुत टफ लग रहा है. विल एक्सप्लेन यू एवरीथिंग ऑन द वे. सो या, एंड आई बिलीव एक सेकेंड, I'll just continue with it. So yeah, nextly Hacktober Fest done. So nextly the thing is, as I said, कि we'll search, we'll learn how to find projects. तो projects कैसे ढूंढे, ठीक है? As I said, basic task करो. पहले कुछ मत करो, बस Google search करो, ठीक है? Google पे जाओ and जो तुम्हें चाहिए वो search कर लो. Free open source project Google करो, तुम्हें अपने आप बहुत सारे links आ जाएंगे. Or the other thing you can do is कि as I showed you this Hacktober का website, there is this Discord channel of Hacktober, wherein once you join the Discord server, there is a very big community wherein you can search for your projects. जो तुम्हें project चाहिए, जैसे ये project sharing tab के अंदर, there are many people who are sharing their projects constantly, and you can work on the project. So वहाँ से you can pick a open source project and start contributing over there. Or else the best thing you can do is कि you can post it in intro to open source वाला channel में अपना open source project or a project which you find, ठीक है? That's one way you can search open source project. और as I said कि बस search कर लो. memes आ रहा था. So like open source projects, and like यहाँ पे तुम्हें अलग अलग companies का दिख जाएगा, जैसे मेटा का हो गया, right? नीचे नीचे जाओगे तो बहुत सारी चीजें मिलेंगी. और what you can do is कि तुम लोग GitHub पे जाओ, ठीक है? एंड यहाँ पे जाके तुम ओपन सोर्स सर्च कर लो, ठीक है? यहाँ टॉपिक्स में तुम्हें दिख जाएगा कि ये सब है ओपन सोर्स में. और व्हाट यू कैन सर्च फॉर इज यू कैन सर्च फॉर Hacktober Fest, because all the all the repositories which have this Hacktober Fest का label are eligible to participate in Hacktober Fest. So you can see the hashtag Hacktober Fest 2021. ये last year का था. So इस साल का is Hacktober Fest 20, नहीं खाली Hacktober Fest है I believe. Yeah, ये is the official repo, and here you can see all the open source projects and you can sort it by your liking. For example, अगर तुम्हें सबसे fewest forks देखने हैं कि कौन से projects पे काम नहीं हुआ है, या सबसे ज़्यादा forks देखने हैं कि कौन से project पे actively development हो रहा है, you can sort it accordingly. And ये forks क्या होता है, ये stars क्या होता है, ये हम सब सिखाने वाले हैं, so रुक जाओ अभी थोड़ा, ठीक है? And the other thing is there is this website called as Good First Issues, ठीक है? एंड मैंने जो गुड फर्स्ट इशू बताया था ये वही चीज़ है. सो हियर यू कैन सॉर्ट अकॉर्डिंग टू द लैंग्वेज विच यू लाइक. फॉर एग्जांपल इफ आई एम फेमिलियर विद जावा, आई सेलेक्ट जावा, एंड यहाँ पे मुझे सारे जावा से रिलेटेड प्रोजेक्ट्स आ जाएंगे एंड द इश्यूज इन देम जो गुड फर्स्ट इश्यूज है जो डेवलपर ने खुद ने डाला है. सो आई कैन विजिट एनी ऑफ देम एंड कॉन्ट्रीब्यूट टू दैट प्रोजेक्ट. सो ये वो प्रोजेक्ट था जो मैं क्लिक किया. So yeah, I'll just share all these links in the Discord का सर्वर, ठीक है? And the other thing is you can help your friends, right? If you don't like want to start contributing around the globe and like abhi se like sabko nahi karna, the least you can do is you can help your friends collaborating on project. दोस्तों को बोलो कि like let's work on something, go to hackathons, right? Collaborate, build some projects, or else you can start your own open source project and like start your journey. क्योंकि एक बार तुम्हारी journey start हो जाती है ना, you'll start learning new things. धीरे धीरे you'll see I should step up and you'll start stepping up. So that was the main thing, and I believe we are done with my part. And as I promised, मैं बोल रहा था कि Git and GitHub सिखाएंगे, so that's that time. So I'll bring on Aditya to start with Git and GitHub.
Okay, so hello guys, my name is Aditya Chandran and I am from SY CodeCell. I'll be teaching you how to set up Git so that you can start your journey with open source. Okay, so first of all we have to understand what's the difference between Git and GitHub. Okay, तो अभी समझ लो कि तुमने कोड लिखा, ठीक है, कोड का एक आउटपुट आया लेकिन वो आउटपुट तुम्हें अच्छा नहीं लगा, तो तुमने चेंजेस किए कोड के अंदर, लेकिन जब चेंज करने के बाद जब आउटपुट आया तो वो आउटपुट और बेकार हो गया, तो अब तुम्हें रिवर्ट करना है, तो तुम पुराना कोड वापस से लाने का ट्राई करोगे, लेकिन अब प्रॉब्लम क्या हो जाएगा कि तुमको अब याद ही नहीं कि तुमने क्या चेंज किया। तो इन सब इश्यूज को सॉल्व करने के लिए हमारे पास एक सिस्टम है जिसको बोलते हैं वर्जन कंट्रोल सिस्टम। तो वर्जन कंट्रोल सिस्टम क्या होता है कि समझ लो तुमने कोड बनाया और उसमें पहला चेंज किया, ओके, और उसके बाद तुमने सेकंड चेंज किया, थर्ड चेंज किया, फोर्थ चेंज किया, और अगर समझ लो कि अगर फोर्थ चेंज में आके तुमको अच्छा नहीं लग रहा, तुमको आउटपुट निकाले तुमको अच्छा नहीं लग रहा और तुम्हें सेकंड चेंज में वापस जाना है, तो जो वर्जन कंट्रोल सिस्टम है तुम्हें वापस अपने पुराने चेंजेस में जाने का लिबर्टी देता है। सो गिट कैसे काम करता है, गिट तुम्हारे हर एक चेंज का स्नैपशॉट निकाल के रखता है और उसको एक जगह सेव करता है जिसको बोलते हैं रेपोजिटरी। ओके, वो तुम्हारे डिवाइस में एक फाइल बनता है जिसके अंदर वो सेव करके रखता है। तो अब हमें ये समझना है कि गिट और गिटहब में क्या डिफरेंस है। तो गिट जो है वो पर्सनल वर्क के लिए, समझ लो डिवाइस के अंदर तुम्हें चेंजेस सेव करके रखने हैं तो तुम गिट यूज करोगे, लेकिन अगर समझ लो तुमको अपना प्रोजेक्ट जो है वो बाकी सबके साथ शेयर करना है तो उसके लिए हम लोग गिटहब यूज करते हैं। गिटहब के अलावा भी अलग अलग रिमोट सर्वर्स हैं, लेकिन गिटहब अभी तक सबसे फेमस है तो हम लोग अभी गिटहब ही यूज करेंगे। ओके, so I hope that you guys have understood what I'm saying. If anyone has any doubts you can ask me right now. Okay, so now we'll start with setting up Git. Okay, फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल, अच्छा, अगर तुम मैक या लिनक्स में हो तो तुमको गिट बैश डाउनलोड की जो हम लोग अभी डाउनलोड करने वाले हैं उसकी ज़रूरत नहीं है, तुम सिंपल अपना टर्मिनल यूज़ कर सकते हो। लेकिन अगर तुम लोग विंडोज़ में हो तो अपने कोई भी ब्राउज़र में जाओ और वहाँ पे सर्च करो गिट बैश। ओके, क्लिक दिस लिंक, click on download for Windows and click on whichever link. Means if your system is 32-bit then select 32-bit, if your system version is 64-bit select 64-bit. Okay, so click on the link and download the file. पर मेरे सिस्टम में पहले से git bash है तो मैं वापस से डाउनलोड नहीं करूँगा। ओके, so I'll wait 1 minute for you guys to download and install Git. Okay, so I hope that you guys have completed the installation of Git in your device. Okay, so now I'll open Git bash. If you are in Mac or Linux, open your terminal and first पहले हम लोग क्या करेंगे, Git को अपनी आइडेंटिटी बताएंगे कि कौन चेंजेस कर रहा है। अगर मतलब रेपोजिटरी जब बनाएंगे तो Git को पता रहना चाहिए कि किसका रेपोजिटरी है करके और कौन इसमें चेंजेस कर रहा है। तो सबसे पहले हम लोग अपना यूजर नेम डालेंगे। सो द कमांड फॉर दैट इज git config global। इसका मतलब है कि हम लोग गिट से जितने भी कमांड्स डालेंगे तो जितने भी रेपोज बनेंगे उन सभी के लिए सेम सेटिंग रहेगा। और द कोड इज user.name। मेक श्योर दैट you're writing your username inside the inverted commas and use the same username as you are having in GitHub. So मैं अपना GitHub खोल के दिखाता हूँ. This is my GitHub. So my username is secretboy123. So I'll type the same thing. Okay. अब नेक्स्ट कमांड है, हमें अपना ईमेल सेट करना है. तो git config global user.email sorry, then same email ID जो तुमने GitHub बनाने के लिए किया है. So for me it's okay. तो हमने अभी Git को अपनी आइडेंटिटी बता दी है. अब हम लोग को समझ लो कि हमें बार बार Git bash नहीं खोलना है. हमको विजुअल स्टूडियो कोड जो है, जो हम लोग आगे जितने भी कमांड्स करेंगे या फिर तुम लोग कोडिंग भी करोगे तो मोस्टली तुम लोग विजुअल स्टूडियो कोड ही यूज करोगे. तो अगर तुमको समझ लो यहाँ पे इसके टर्मिनल में अगर तुम्हें कोड करना है, गिट कमांड्स यूज करने हैं, तो उसके लिए कमांड है git config global code.editor inverted commas code space -- wait. ओके, तो हमने ये सेट कर दिया है. नाउ अब हम क्या जब भी हम लोग अच्छा ओके, सो अभी हमारा गिट जो है वो हमारे गिटहब के साथ कनेक्ट हो चुका है. लेकिन अब इशू क्या होगा, जब भी हम लोग अपना कोई भी चेंज गिटहब को देने जाएंगे, गिट में रखने से कुछ नहीं होगा, लेकिन अगर समझ लो हमें अपना चेंज जो है वो गिटहब को सेंड करना है, तो हमें बार बार अपना पासवर्ड डालना रहेगा. और एक टाइम पे जाके वो बहुत इरिटेटिंग हो जाता है जब हम लोग बार बार चेंजेस डाल रहे हो, बार बार पासवर्ड डालना पड़ता है. तो इस इशू को रिजॉल्व करने के लिए हमारे पास एक चीज है जिसको बोलते हैं SSH की. ओके, तो SSH की कैसे काम करता है वो अभी तुमको दिखाता हूँ. ओके, सो लेट्स से ये तुम्हारा लैपटॉप है और ये सर्वर है. ओके, तो लैपटॉप को सर्वर को कुछ भेजना है, लेकिन सर्वर जैसे मैंने बताया कि वो पासवर्ड मांगता है. तो उससे बेटर है हम लोग एक SSH की बनाते हैं जिसमें एक प्राइवेट की रहता है और एक पब्लिक की रहता है. ओके, अब हमारा जो लैपटॉप है वो अपना पब्लिक की जो है वो सर्वर को दे देता है. प्राइवेट की हमेशा डिवाइस में रखना चाहिए और मेक श्योर कि किसी और को तुम्हारा प्राइवेट की ना मिले. ओके, पब्लिक की तुम किसी को भी दे सकते हो, लेकिन प्राइवेट की हमेशा अपने पास सिक्योर रखना है. तो हम लोग सर्वर को अपना पब्लिक की देते हैं और प्राइवेट की अपने पास रखता है, जैसे इसमें दिखाया है. Then the server takes the public key and it makes a secret key and जो सर्वर है वो इस सीक्रेट की को अपने हमारे पब्लिक की से एनक्रिप्ट करता है. मतलब पब्लिक की लेता है, उससे एनक्रिप्ट करता है इस सीक्रेट की को. ओके, फिर जो सर्वर है इस की को, जो सीक्रेट की इसने एनक्रिप्ट करके रखा है, वो हमारे लैपटॉप को भेजता है. फिर जो लैपटॉप है ये जो एनक्रिप्शन है इसको डिकोड करने का ट्राई करता है, क्योंकि हमारा प्राइवेट की और पब्लिक की जो है वो एक दूसरे से रिलेटेड है. तो अगर लैपटॉप के पास प्राइवेट की है पहले से ही तो वो इस एनक्रिप्शन को डिकोड कर लेगा, अगर नहीं रहेगा तो डिकोड नहीं कर पाएगा. तो अभी के लिए हमारे पास प्राइवेट की है लैपटॉप में और हमने डिकोड कर लिया. फिर जो लैपटॉप है वो जो बॉक्स के अंदर था, जो एनक्रिप्ट करके रखा था, उसको सर्वर को भेजता है. तो सर्वर फिर वेरीफाई कर लेता है यस जो यूजर को मैंने जिस यूजर ने मेरे को रिक्वेस्ट भेजा है वो करेक्ट यूजर है. एंड आफ्टर दैट एक टनल बन जाता है लैपटॉप और सर्वर के बीच में, जहां पे हम लोग अपनी चेंजेस सेंड कर सकते हैं रिमोट सर्वर को. ओके, सो फॉर जनरेटिंग एन SSH की हम लोग पहले चेक करेंगे कि SSH की हमारे डिवाइस में है या नहीं है. तो उसके लिए कमांड है ls. ये वाला जो सिंबल है वो तुम्हें एस्केप की के नीचे मिलेगा. एस्केप की के नीचे जो vv साइन रहता है, तो ls vv-/.ssh. ओके, सो अगर तुम्हारे डिवाइस में SSH की रहेगा तो तुम्हें इस तरह का मैसेज मिलेगा. और अगर तुमको मैन्युअली जाके देखना है बिना कमांड के, तो तुम लोग अपने यूजर्स वाले फाइल में जाओ और यहाँ पे SSH की करके एक फोल्डर, SSH करके फोल्डर रहेगा। तो अभी के लिए मैं डिलीट कर रहा हूँ, जिससे जिनके पास SSH नहीं है उनको भी पता चले कि कैसा दिखता है। So I'm deleting this. I'll close Git and I'll open it again. Now I'll check that I don't have any file called .ssh. Okay. Now we have to generate an SSH key. So the command is SSH key generation TED25519. तो जो हमारा SSH की जो होगा, जो उसका कोड रहेगा, वो इस ED25519 के फॉर्म में रहेगा। तो ये समझने के लिए हमको क्रिप्टोग्राफी में जाना पड़ेगा, तो अभी के लिए ये सब नहीं करते। तो ED25519 C and then add your GitHub email ID. So for me it's secret.boy. ओके, सो अभी 3 क्वेश्चंस पूछेगा ये, लेकिन तुम एंटर भी कर सकते हो, या फिर जब ये वाला क्वेश्चन पूछेगा एंटर पास फ्रेज करके, तो तुम लोग खुद का पास फ्रेज डाल सकते हो। लेकिन अभी के लिए मैं डिफॉल्ट ही रखना चाहता हूँ, तो मैं जस्ट एंटर प्रेस करूंगा। सो SSH की हैज बीन जनरेटेड। तो हमारे पास अभी प्राइवेट और पब्लिक की बन चुके हैं, लेकिन अभी हमें रिमोट सर्वर को अपना पब्लिक की देना है। तो उसके लिए क्या करेंगे, हम लोग उसको कॉपी कर लेंगे। तो so the command for that is clip this symbol greater than smaller than symbol, then okay, so now this has been copied, the public key has been copied in my clipboard. Now I'll go to my GitHub. Okay, I'll click on my profile picture, I'll go to settings, click SSH and GPG keys. अच्छा हाँ, एक चीज का मेंशन करना भूल गया था, ये जो मैंने कॉपी का जो कमांड यूज किया है वो लिनक्स और मैक के लिए डिफरेंट है। तो द कमांड फॉर दैट मैं चैट में डाल देता तुम लोगों के लिए। ओके, सो फॉर विंडोज, लिनक्स एंड मैक द कमांड्स आर डिफरेंट। ओके, सो यूज द कमांड अकॉर्डिंग टू योर ओएस। तो हमने कॉपी कर लिया, अब हम लोग अपने गिटहब में जाएंगे और यहाँ पे सेटिंग्स में गए, SSH एंड GPG कीज। तो ये पुराना वाला था, डिलीट करके रख देता हूँ। ओके, नाउ क्लिक ऑन न्यू SSH की। अब टाइटल कुछ भी दे दो। अभी जो SSH की है वो मेरे लैपटॉप में बना है, तो मैं उसको नाम दूंगा लैपटॉप SSH। ओके, एंड कम हियर एंड पेस्ट जो भी, अच्छा सॉरी मैंने कुछ और कॉपी किया था। सो आई विल कॉपी दिस एंड आई विल पेस्ट इट ओवर हियर। ओके, तो तुम्हारा जो की है वो इस फॉर्म में रहेगा। पहले ये लिखा है SSH ED25519, फिर इतना लंबा सा एक रैंडम कैरेक्टर्स के साथ एक कोड रहेगा, उसके बाद तुम्हारा गिटहब का ईमेल आईडी। ओके, नाउ प्रेस ऐड SSH की, कंफर्म इट। अब हो सकता है अगर तुमने मोबाइल से अपना गिटहब वेरीफाई करके रखा हुआ है, तो तुम्हें मोबाइल में बोलेगा कि नंबर एंटर करो और फिर वेरिफिकेशन होगा। ओके, अब लास्ट एक कोड बाकी है कि हम गिटहब को बोलेंगे अब हम अपने आप को पूरी तरह से वेरीफाई करना चाहते हैं। तो उसका कोड होगा SSH कैपिटल T @github.com। ओके, प्रेस करो। तो अभी ये पूछेगा कि तुम्हें वेरीफाई करना है या नहीं, तो टाइप यस, एंड नाउ your git and github have been completely connected. Okay, so अभी आगे की जो commands है वो हमें प्रणय सिखाएगा, so I'll pass on to Pranay.
So hey guys, I'm Pranay from KJSCE CodeCell, and I'll be teaching you guys how to use Git and GitHub. So by now you have a fair understanding of what Git and GitHub is and why do we use it, but let's just recap. So what is Git? Git is basically a version control system, right? Now what does this mean? It basically means that you can keep track of your project. So let's say you're working on a project and you're making changes in that project continuously. And let's say at one point your project was working and you made a change, and at that point your project stops working. So you want some way to go back in time and get that previous version of your project, right? Git allows us to do that. So on Git, you can basically store the history of your project. You have all the records, like who made what change at what time, and that's why we use Git. Now, what is GitHub? GitHub is basically a platform where you can host your Git repositories. Okay, so there are many open source projects available on GitHub, and people from all around the world can contribute to it. Doesn't matter where you are, you just need GitHub and you can contribute to cool open source projects. Okay, so let's learn how to use Git on a local machine. So I have Git bash open right here and I have a new folder. So let's first make a new folder. So I'll be using commands, but you can also do that manually by right clicking here and making a new folder. So the command to make a new folder is make directory project. As you can see, a new folder is created. Let's go inside this folder. Okay. Now, if I do a change in this folder, no one in the world knows what change I did. Okay. If I add a few files here or if I delete a few files, no one would know. So for that, we have to first initialize a Git repository so that we can store our changes in that Git repository. So to initialize an empty Git repository, the command is git init. And as you can see, you have a .git folder open right here. Now, what is this .git folder? It's basically the folder in which all the changes which you are going to save in your Git repo, all the changes are going to be saved here. So there are a lot of things inside this folder. You don't really have to know what are these things, but it basically saves all the changes. Okay, so let's make a few changes. Let's say I create a new file. So the command for that is touch. I'll create a new txt file. So I have a new txt file here. Now, if I want to check the status of my Git repository, like what's the status of the Git repository on my local machine, there's this command git status. So it says first contributions.txt under untracked files. So this change which you made right here, it's still not stored on the Git repository. Okay, it's just on your local machine. So if you want to add this change to your Git repository, it's a two-step process. First, you have to add this change to the staging area, and then you can commit those changes to the Git repository. We can understand this by an example. Let's say you go to an airport, okay, and you want to catch a flight. So before catching the flight, you get in a queue for security check. Okay, so this process of getting in line, this you can relate to staging the changes. And when you finally get inside the flight, you can relate to committing those changes. Okay, so let's say I want to put this change in the staging area. So for the command for that is git add, and then I can type the name of the file, or else I can just do git add dot. This basically adds every change. So right now I've just made one change, but imagine if I had made like more than like 4 or 5 changes, then I can add all those changes at once by using this command. So now if I type git status, it will tell me that you have added this change to the staging area, but you have yet not added this change to the Git repo. So this change is yet to be committed. Okay, so to commit this change, the command is git commit -m, and then you can type any commit message. So I'll just type first commit, and you have made your first commit on your Git repository. Now if I type git status, it will show nothing to commit, working tree clean. So whatever changes you made on your local machine on this on your laptop, everything is now saved on the Git repository. To check the commits, there is this command git log. So it basically gives you information about all the commits. So as you can see, this is the ID, and this is the information about the author who made this commit, the time, the date and time, and the commit message. Okay. So that's how you commit your changes to the Git repo. Now, let's say you're working on a project and you made some changes and you want to go back, right? So let's say I've made this commit and I make a few changes. Let's say I create a few files, first.txt, then second.txt. Okay, so I have a few files over here, and if I type git status, it will show me that these changes are yet to be added to the staging area. These are untracked changes, right? But you didn't want to do that. Let's say you want to go back. So for that, if you want to go to this first commit, like you want to go back where your project was at this point. Okay, so for that, the command is git stash. Whatever changes you made are going to be gone now. Okay, it says no local changes to save. I think I have to add it to the staging area first. Now if I type git status, okay, so as you can see, I added those changes to the staging area, and if I want to go back, if I want to remove those changes, the command is git stash. So whatever changes you added to the staging area, all the changes are gone now. Okay, so that's how you can commit changes and remove changes. Let's say you want to what else? Yeah, let's say you want to do this is a two-step process, right? First, you have to add the changes to the staging area, and then you commit those changes. Let's say you want to do this at once. So if I make a change again, a new file is created. If I type, it says names.txt is untracked. Now, if I want to add this change to the staging area and commit it as well, the command is git. I think there's something wrong with the git bash over here. I don't know why it's not working, but it should work. But it's just another way to commit your changes. You can do that by this also, git add dot and then git commit message. Now if you type git log, you can see two commits are made. So that's how you can commit changes. Now let's say you want to remove a commit. So first of all, you can't remove a commit from between. So if you remove a commit, every commit above it will also get removed. So if I try to remove this, every commit above this will also be removed. To demonstrate it better, let me add a few more files. Yeah, let's say you want to remove this commit, but if you try to remove this commit will also get removed. Okay, so you can't remove any commit from between. So if you want to remove every commit after this commit, you just copy this ID and type git reset and then the ID. So now every commit after this second commit is going to be removed. So third commit will get removed. So if I type git log, as you can see, I have the first commit and second commit, but the third commit is removed. So that's how you can commit changes to your Git repository, and you can remove changes from your Git repository. Now we'll learn how to use GitHub, how you can host this Git repository which you created on your machine to GitHub so that everyone can contribute to it. So For that, I'll be calling Rohit.
Hello, I'm Rohit Avade from TY Comms. Now I'll show how GitHub works. GitHub is basically a cloud service where you can host all your repositories. So whenever you make a repository locally, you need something that is present on a Git repo that is present on GitHub, so that whenever you push some changes to it, others can clone and get pull those changes from there and keep on working on the new updated version. So that's why we use GitHub. So for making the first, let's start with making a repository on GitHub. So here I'm creating a new repository. I will just give a name, let's say test repo. Now there are two options. We can keep it public or private. So if we are working on any organization related project, we can keep it private. For now, I will keep it public and I will create the repo. So once we have created the repo, we need to push some files into it so that we can start working. So I have created a folder here. I will first initialize Git and after that I have to add the remote repository to my this repo. So git remote add origin, and this is the link of this repository. So whenever hereafter whenever I use origin, it will be referencing to this remote repository. Now I'll create a file, let's say readme file, and currently the file is untracked, so I will stage it first. So after that we have to commit it to Git. And whenever we commit any changes, we have to give a message. The message basically should state it should answer the question like what does this commit do. So this commit, let's say it adds readme file. In the first commit, people also write initial commit. After that, it should like this format. I will push those to GitHub so that we can see that on our GitHub account. Origin is the remote repository and main is the branch where we are pushing. As you can see, the changes are visible here. So now whenever people work on a Git repo, there are multiple people working simultaneously, right? So we would like a workspace where others' work cannot affect our work. So that those are branches. So when you create a particular branch in a repo, there it is kind of photo of the particular point of that parent branch. So any changes that you make in that child branch won't be affecting the parent branch. So you can make, whenever you add in a feature, you can make a new branch and keep working on this feature, and then afterwards you can merge that branch into the main parent branch, whatever it is, not necessarily main, but still. I will create a branch. Let's say dev, and I will now change my branch. Currently it is main, so we have to work on dev, right? So now the branch is switched to dev. You can see here. Now I will add one more file. Let's say index.html. So now again it is untracked, so I will add it and commit it to Git. Okay. So Now we have to push this to GitHub. And now we will push this to dev branch. So a new branch will be created on our Git repository, and that is present on GitHub. We can see this new branch is created, dev, and here I have an option to compare and create a pull request. So now the changes won't be visible on main branch. We'll have to change the branch here, and then we can see that the new index file is present. Sorry for the delay, the net is a bit slow. So as you can see, in main branch, the file is not visible. But if we see the branches, there are 2 branches. When we change the branch, the file will be there, the index file. So now we have to get that on our main branch, right? Once we have completed a feature, we want to merge it into the parent repo, parent branch. So for that, I will now check out, like change my branch to main first. So now I'm working on main branch. It will come here, and then I will merge my dev branch into my main branch. As you can see now, index file is there in the main branch also. I'll just put. We can see the index file is present in main branch also now. So this is the use of branching. And now, as you have seen, there are many commands, right? So there can be some mistake that we make. Let's say we commit something. Now I'll add one more file, just home file, let's say. I'll commit it. Adds home. Okay. And now I have pushed it to GitHub. I will push it in. Okay, so now that change is pushed, but now we realize that we have made a mistake. Oh, I want to change that message. Like how many kinds of mistakes can be there? Either you want to change the message or you want to like delete the commit. You don't want to commit this, or maybe you want to modify the commit. You wanted to add something else, but you forgot and then you committed. So what can you do in that cases? So let's say if you just want to change the message, you can try this git commit amend. This allows you to change the message that was written before the previous commit. Let's say add home page. Okay, now that file is changed, and now we'll try to push it again, right? But now see, now GitHub is not allowing us to push it. That is because now our head pointer we have pushed, like we have pulled it a bit one commit behind, and now there is already a commit present on GitHub where we are trying to commit now. So for that we are not allowed to do so. So that's why we have to use git push force flag. And even while using force flag, we need to be a bit careful, because what it does is it allows us to rewrite the commit history. So if we are using a public repo, that is repo that is visible to all, So there might be other people who have cloned our project now and they're using it. And then after some time we revert some commits, not revert, but amend some commits. So our project will be completely different now. And the previous commits won't be existing. So that shouldn't happen. So that's why we shouldn't use this git commit amend or git reset on public repos, but we can use it on private ones. And also we should use this with force with leash. That is because we should what it does is it doesn't allow us to pull back the commits if the commit has been done by some other person. It will only allow us to change the commits that have been done by the same account, by our account. I will push this again. So now the message here will be git page is added here, page word. In the same way, we can also revert some commits, that not revert but reset our repository to a previous state. That is now if I check git log, these are the previous commits that we have done. We have added home page recently, the most recent commit. So if we want to remove this commit completely, so wait a second. If we want to remove the previous commit completely, we can use git reset. Now, while using git reset, there are two options. We can either just remove the commit from GitHub and the changes will be still staged here, or we can completely remove that file. That is, the last commit was home. We have added new file. The last commit will completely be gone from the GitHub also and also from our working repository. So for doing that, we can use hard flag, or without hard flag, the changes will be staged here. I will use hard flag and now the home file will go away. The head pointer that is present, we will pull it back by one commit. So the head is now at adds index. That was merging the branch, right? And this file is gone now. So now again we have to. Okay, it will be visible eventually. So now what if we want to do this on a public repo? How can we do something similar to this? So for that we can revert commits. Now what it does is it makes the new commit that is completely opposite to our current just previous commit. So if we added up index file in the previous commit and we want to remove that, so we can just use git revert to that state. So it will add a new commit which will remove all the changes that were done in that particular commit. So how can we do that? We will again check the git log. So as we can see, the previous commits are this adds index page and create readme. So we have to revert this commit, right? Adds index page. So we will do git revert. And we will add this tag to the commit that we have to revert. We don't need to copy everything and because these are different. So now just press. Not changing the message, just reverting it. So now we have reverted the previous commit, and now if we try git push, we don't need to force it because now we are pushing ahead one more commit that reverts our previous commit. I will just git push origin main, and this will work here. See, we don't need to use force, and now there will be one more commit that does the job of removing the previous commit. Revert adds index page. This is the ideal how we have to revert our commits in case the repo is public. That so now we have seen how to use our own work with our own repo. But what if we want to work on someone else's project? So for that, we first need to search some repository which will work. I will go with KJSCE CodeCell. Now we can search for issues, but currently ये repo में issues नहीं है. We'll just maybe go into some other repo for time being. So as you can see, these are the issues listed here. So we can you can search, like click on any one which interests you. There will be a description. Then maybe you can ask if you can work on it. Provide a small idea of how you are going to go forward with the procedure. And then once you start working, you need to fork this repo. Now, why is that? Why do you need to fork? Why can't you just like how you can clone your own repositories? Why is it not allowed here? So that is because when you are working on someone else's repo, and if you just commit anything, like cloning this and commit, let's say delete the whole code and commit it. So you should not be allowed to do that. You should not be allowed to change the repositories that are made by others without their permission. That's why there is this fork option. You can click on that. So now there will be a copy of that repository on my account, Rohit. So when I clone this, fork this, now I'm able to see all these commits, all this code base here. And now I can clone the repository that is present on my account. Okay, I only cloned the main branch. That's fine for me. Also, once we clone this repo, we need to be careful of one thing. Now, there is this sync fork button present here. Now, our branch is not behind because we have just forked it. But if I go to an older fork, like something that I've done months before, there might be hundreds of thousands changes commits after that. So we need to pull those in our repository before starting to work on it. Else we might get into some merge conflicts, because someone else might have worked already on that file and then we are changing the same file. So that's why we need to be careful. We need to just fetch upstream from here and then pull those changes into our repo. I'll type it here and again commit those changes. Add, then get commit. So now the files have changed and now we'll push it. Now it will not be pushed directly to that CodeCell repo. It will be pushed to my repo, that is where we have cloned, and then we'll have to make a PR from there. See, it is pushed to Rohit. So now my version of the repo will be one commit ahead of KJSC. So now I have to click on this. Now maybe with for showing the merge conflicts, they will make some changes here, and then we can show the merge conflict part. Till then, you can try committing a bit. You can try whatever you have learned on the CodeCell repo that is made here. First PR, maybe you can try working a bit on here. Hello guys. So you have to write a feedback here in this repo, and whatever you have seen till now. Okay, in this you can commit that part here.
Guys, in the repository, you guys can add up your feedback so that you'll have your first PR as well. So if you have any doubts, abhi sort kar sakte hain, and we can move on. You can have your first PR. Okay.
Okay, so as I've created this merge, I will just create a pull request now. So just for you guys to know how the merge happens. So you can put in description here if you want, and if the maintainer wants to add some changes, wants you to add some changes or change something, they can provide description like whatever they want to be changed, and then you can commit again in the same branch. It will be automatically added here, like there is update readme, then will be new commits here on the same PR, and then after that, whenever the PR is good enough, merge it and close the PR. You can see the PR is from Rohit to CodeCell. So now they will merge that eventually. Moving forward now, we will see the 4 repos that we have made for you guys to contribute on Hacktober Fest. So you can try.
So before that, we'll be having a small quiz for all of you guys. Just on GitHub, कि अभी बहुत कुछ किया, just as a revision, I'm putting the link over here in the Discord. You guys can check. And we'll see the ye later. Command that adds your modified values to the queues to be committed later. Git pull, git push, git add, or git commit. And it's git add space dot. If you guys have not noticed. Great. Git add was the correct answer, and 12 of you have voted. Amazing. Great. This is our leaderboard. Amazing. Mihir, Rajesh, Panchal. Amazing. Fastest. Yeah, the second question. Which of the following GitHub features allows you to create your own copy of any public repository on GitHub? Is it the star feature, the fork feature, the actions feature, or none of these? Brilliant. Fork is the correct answer. 16 people have answered correctly. So the leaderboard, let's see what happened over there. Okay, Mihir is okay. Rabbit, whoever this person is leading. Then we have Mihir and then Homer. Nice names, you guys. How to create a new branch in Git called trial. The trial is the new branch name. So how will you create this new branch? Is it git checkout trial, git checkout dash B trial, git checkout dash, or is it just git checkout dash D trial? Five seconds. Okay, this was a good question and B is the correct answer. So great. It's git checkout B trial. D trial deletes it. Git checkout hyphen. I don't think it does anything, but git checkout trial is the one. If you already have a trial branch, then you can switch it. Yes, so now that we're adding the scores, and Mihir Rajesh Panchal is again at the top. What is the git command to link your local git repo to the remote GitHub repository created on github.com? Which one of these is the answer? Okay, time's up. And okay, so correct answer is git remote add origin, and then you have your URL. So now the leaderboard is Mihir is still, and then this KSI, Rohit, Hassan, amazing. Question 5, the last question. Which of the following tenses should be used to write a commit message? It is a uniform practice, and it is a very important thing when you're putting in comments. Because comments kaise bhi dala to nahi chalta. There should be a uniformity over there. So which one is it? This is a grammar question, by the way. So FYI, it is present tense but imperative. Normal इसमें नहीं चलता है. Okay. Only Hussein got the right answer. And then okay, Hussein is second, but we have Mihir as our winner. So congratulations, Mihir. Later, let me know your Insta ID so that I can give you a shout out over there.
Arya, I think you can start with your part.
So, hello guys, I'm Arya from SYIT. So we at CodeCell have been working at something called Ask Here. Ask Here is actually a customizable forms app. Like we have seen Typeform, but Typeform is a paid version. So what we are trying to create is an open source version which we can use everywhere, like in our college, whenever we want to register for an event. We hope that we will use Ask Here for it instead of Typeform or Google Forms. So I'll just show you what the project is about, how the structure is. Yeah, so this is the main app.js where the project actually starts. So I've created multiple routes in this project, and some of the routes are some of the routes are protected actually. Like only login and register can be accessed if the user is not registered. Then the dashboard and all will not be seen to the normal user if it is not registered. Then I have the user form, which the user can see while filling up the form, like the end user. Then we have the create form where the admin can create the forms based on the requirement and then add it to their profiles. And we also have a dashboard in which we can see all the forms that we have created. So right now the project is not yet integrated with the backend. Hence, everything that you see is dummy data. So till now only the UI work has been done, and much more work is still yet to be done. Like some features are yet to be added, some issues are yet to be resolved. So I hope that you guys will contribute to it. So I'll just show you the 3 main pages. This is the dashboard where you can see your forms which you have created with the number of responses. This is going to be a clickable element later once we set up the backend. In the create form, where you have an option to add multiple choice or short answer to each and every question. Then we have the form which the end user is going to see. This is the FYREP form. As we know that FYREP is going to come in November, December, so hence I put the dummy data as this. This is the FYREP form. I have added animations. And over here, there is a simple issue. I hope that someone in this meeting will resolve it later and contribute to this project. Is whenever I'm writing something in the input, I am losing focus of the input. So if anyone can resolve this and submit a PR, then the maintainers here at CodeCell will look into it. Now, Vatsal will explain you the back end of this project.
So hello everyone, I am Vatsal Sanchla from SY Comms. I am in technical team of KJSCE CodeCell. So as Arya explained you, we are working on Ask Here project. It is basically a system for taking input from the user, like some form from the user. Now, just imagine you are filling that old Google form and you do not have any kind of animation. You won't get that excitement, right? So we are creating this form. Arya is managing the front end of the part and I am looking for the back end. So I will just have a look at the tech stack of the project. Basically, the tech stack of this project is one, which is MongoDB, Express, Node, and React. Okay, so what is Node? Node is a basic JavaScript library used for writing JavaScript at the backend. We use Express for writing APIs and doing routes and all those things, middlewares and all those things in an easy manner. And we are using MongoDB as a database. Like whatever things we take from the user, we are saving in a database, MongoDB. And when we need it, we fetch it from the user. Now, This is the folder structure of the project. We have assets like if we want to store any kind of image or any kind of something description, then we can store there. Config file contains all the configurations for connecting to different systems like database and then authentication systems, etc. Controller. Controller defines the basic behavior of the app. Like there are two parts of the app, behavior and properties. Controller defines the behavior of the app. We use middlewares for writing for checking if the authentication is verified or not and all those things. Model contains the schema of the database and public contains all the JavaScript which is rendered to be on the browser side. We do routes in routes folder, and this is the entry point of the project, which is server.js. Now, I would like to ask you a simple question. Do anyone here know why do we use this .env package? Anyone here? You can even put it in chat. Why do we use this .env package? Any random guesses? Okay, fine, no worries. See, what the thing is, there are certain configurations which we use for our accounts to connect with database or to connect with if we are using Firebase, then we get a JSON object, which is a private key to connect to our account. So we do not save it in any other file. We save it in a .env file. This is the .env file. And what we do is we put this gitignore, and what we do is we create a gitignore file and we put this .env here. So what it will do is when we push it to GitHub, it will ignore this .env file and all the private keys which we have, it won't get published on GitHub. So that's it from my end. So coming to issues, there can be multiple issues created. Like it can be some here. It can be like some middleware is not applied to router, or some middleware is applied to router level middleware, but we want to use it at API level. So there can be multiple issues. Right now it is under development. Further, it will be updated and the issues will be created. That's all.
So hello everyone, I am Hardik from KJSCE CodeCell. As my friend Arya and Vatsal explained you the repository based on Mon stack, I am here with the most straightforward stack that many of you must be familiar with. I will be presenting you an open source project built with 3 languages, HTML, CSS and JavaScript. I would like to note that it is an open source project. You're welcome to any contributions that you want to make. Basically, in this repository, the people who don't know HTML, CSS, JavaScript can also contribute. I will show you. I will just share my screen and show you guys what I'm telling. Can you guys share my screen? See my screen?
Yeah, we can see the browser.
So I will just show you how the website looks like. So this is the basic structure of the website, and the name of the website is CodeMap. So what we have tried to build is when you are new to any sort of programming, or you are a new programmer, you want to learn something. There are many websites that will show you different ways, but few of them would display that in which pattern you need to follow. So this website is just a open source project in which let's say you want to learn front end. So you will click on front end and we will show you the whole structure in which format you need to learn things. So first you will learn what is front end, then overview, then you clear all these concepts, then you move on to HTML. What all things you need to learn in HTML, then you move on to CSS. So this kind of structure we have built. All the links are not yet working. It's an open source project. You all will contribute to it. So I have left all. So there are many sections over here. You can click on the section so that you can read on that. And there are many sections that are empty. So all the questions here are empty. You can fill in the information, as well as you can contribute and create all these sections, new sections. JavaScript sections, repo hosting services, all these sections are empty yet. You have to create all the sections. So I will just show you how you can contribute to this website. So I'm opening KJSCE CodeCell's GitHub account, and here there is a repository named CodeMap. It is a public repository. In order to contribute to this, I will show you how to contribute and create your first pull request in this repository. I will first of all fork this repository as you have learned. I've created a fork in my own account. I will. Okay, so yeah, we have cloned the repository successfully. There's nothing in that. Guys, can some of you help me with this? I'm cloning the repository, but it's empty.
It is an empty repository.
Yes. Put yes over there. Are you sure you want to connect? Continue connect. Wait. Now it has fetched. Now you check the folder.
Yeah.
Now
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah. Good.
So this is the index page of the file, which you can see over here. This is the page. Now let's say you want to add a new box like front-end development. Let's say you want to add a guys, you suggest me. What should I add over here? Any development-based thing that you want to learn. Anyone in the charts or can suggest me?
I think no one is answering.
Okay, sure. Okay, I will just create one more front end. I will just create one more back end thing. Okay. I will just create one more backend thing, and this is my changes to the file. So if I want to create a pull request, like if I want to submit my changes to KJSCE CodeCell, I have to commit my changes. So here we go. We commit the changes, and the message we write is new develop. Let's say we come. So just so that our main branch does not affect, we put the changes to a new branch. We create a new branch. Get just a second, guys. Check out branch. We create a new branch, merge request, and we go into the branch. Okay. First we check in which remote we are. Okay. Yeah, in the origin remote. So let's push the changes we have made to merge request. As you can see, changes are reflected. Now let's go back to see, as the message is prompted, message request has recently pushed less than a minute ago. So we go and click on this green button, compare and pull request inside. So it automatically takes us to the pull request page. You can add a title to it, and you can just leave a message like what are you committing to the what are the changes. If you want to describe in detail, you can type it out here. Right now I'm not typing any thing here. I will just straightforwardly create a pull request. Now Yeah. So checking. So my pull request is published. And now, Jay, can you just show them like how a pull request is seen from your end as a maintainer of the repository?
Sure. On which repo you have opened it on code map, right?
Yeah. Just share your screen and.
Good afternoon, everyone. I am Vinay Kanse, technical team member and a web developer who is pushing his limits by creating apps too. Ever forgot to carry book and pen and want to write notes? Well, here is our solution to it, Flutter Keep. This is a note-taking app made using Flutter. The reason we choose Flutter is because it is an open source framework by Google, and like it is used in many of the apps like we use daily, Google Pay or Google Ads, and also there are mental healthness app like Reflectly, and they all use Flutter. So Flutter is a good choice for to create apps. Now this is a folder structure for Flutter. In library or lib folder, we have database folder which manages database using SQLite. We preferred in SQLite instead of any other cloud-based platform so that the data remains offline. There is no need to use like post the data online. There is a screens. There is screens for different like home screen and edit screen, widgets, main file, constant has all the constant related to app, and helper is a utility class for creating and managing nodes. And there I can show you app. This is app demo. You can see it has dark and light mode, and you can add update whatever note you have, change different, use different colors and add it. Now the issues that you can resolve on this app is it doesn't have any like state to store what theme currently user is on. You can also update UI. Feel free to update UI. There are other things, other points that I like. You can update is you can also have Markdown supported note, for example. There are this is all like things you can update. Add features to this project.
Yes, I think that was about the repositories that we have put up for the Hacktober Fest. Now we will soon link it to the Hacktober Fest, and then once you contribute, your contribution will be counted as a Hacktober PR. So you can count that towards your 4 PRs thing that is supposed to be there. And I think now we are closing in. Thank you for tuning in. But before that, we have an announcement for you. Just give me a minute. Okay, so I will quickly check the pull request which Hardik opened a while back. Yep. So this was the pull request opened by Hardik from his fork of the repo, right? He was like, let's add something. And I am the maintainer. I want to close it. So first I will check whatever he has done. I will check the description he has written. I will check his commit. And once after everything is done, as a maintainer, I have this option of merging this pull request. So if I click, so this would be my commit message. If I want to change it, I can, but this is the default commit message given by GitHub that I am merging pull request number 1 on this repository. It's first pull request closure. That's why it is hashtagged as 1 from this username. And what was the branch? This was the branch. So this gives me the complete descriptive information about it. And this is the description. All right. So whatever the commit name was, PR name was, goes in as a description. And GitHub adds in its own description, own commit message, wherein we get the pull request number, the account from which it is added, and the branch name from which it is merged. So now if I confirm the merge, you will see the open flag over there changes to merged flag. And now if I see the code, whatever Hardik had added in that pull request is now a part of this code base, my main code base. And that commit wherein the code gets merged is shown as merge pull request hashtag light, that is number 1 from Hardik Shah 563/merge request. So this is the maintainer perspective of whatever you learned till now. Whatever you were looking till now was the developer perspective, like developer will push to this particular repo and stuff. But let's suppose there's a chance that you may be a maintainer, right? So on a maintainer side, you have to merge it this way. You have to first review all that and merge. All right, so whatever changes, those were done. If you see, those go in this file, index.html, because Hardik changed everything in the index.html, and that's it. The changes he made are merged in this file. All right, that was it. That was about merging. Now we'll get back to this thing and talk about next thing, which is the stickers part. So all right, so we have Tanvi will brief us about the stickers that we are incentivizing you guys. Once you close two PRs on our any of our repositories collectively, if you close 2 PRs, then we are giving away stickers, and you can collect them from, if you're from Suma, you can collect it from the B111, that is the CodeCell room. And I think then we can take over now.
Okay, hi guys, and thank you so much for attending. Stickers ka, as Jay said, if you guys make 2 successful PRs, then we will definitely gift you 2 CodeCell stickers. So and if you're from somewhere, you can come in B11 and take them. As for that's it, then thank you so much for attending. We hope you enjoyed, because we enjoyed a lot, and we loved teaching you guys, and we have put in a lot of efforts as well, all our participants, all our members. So big shout out to them as well. And amazing. So we'll end the session now. Thank you so much for attending, guys.